Alright, so welcome back to like episode 6 of Marstead claims Super Metroid is one of his favorite games of all time. Constantly gets lost in it, doesn't know where to go. It gets running in circles. Probably will not beat it in 3 hours, to your point. This name, we'll see. Maybe if I like ask for help in getting back on track or knowing if I'm going the wrong way. Last session we died to a boss because I ran out of super missiles, so this time I'm going to try to get those super missiles back best as I can. And I'm actually going to move some windows around here so I can stare at the center monitor instead of the side monitor. So I can play this from the OBS preview window. I don't think there was a farming spot near here, though. There's a place where I could, like, drop through the spikes. Yeah, the boss is down through these spikes somewhere. Right here, actually. Yeah. I don't know why audio devices are such a hassle. Like, pretty much every streamer has to use virtual audio cable to get what they want done. And it's super janky software to do something that, like, should work natively. I like how there's these fake out grapple points that you don't even need to throw you off the trail. Alright, before we fight this boss, I'm going to see if I can find a place that has pickups. I think it was right through this door. Shoot. I don't remember what you get from beating this one. It's the fake Metroid, so I can technically farm that one, but it wouldn't be very effective. It's where I wish this game had a context-sensitive grapple, right? Let's save again since I opened that door. The thing in the room to my right is healing only. It does not restock any of my missiles or anything like that, right? Some missiles. More regular missiles. Come on. Let's not do it that way. Let's go this way instead. I can do the wall jumping okay. I'm really bad at grappling for some reason. I think grappling is supposed to be easy. I just don't have the timing right, and I don't know why. I've never been good at it either. For whatever reason. Can I see my max missiles? Let's see. I don't think I can. Now, I need to manually... Do I need to manually proc reserve tanks, or do they pop automatically when my health gets low? I might actually be full. 20 and 100 might be the most I have. If that's the case, I'll just go try to get to the boss without spending any ammo. So I can heal right outside for free. Oh wait, no. Oh, it's okay. This will be better than my last attempt. Okay, so I'm gonna I don't need to top off because I'm full, but I'm going to go ahead and save with the extra missiles and let the door open, and then we'll go try this. Hopefully it goes okay. Turn it up just a little bit for my ear. You tried to suck my brains out. Alright, let's dun this dun. Yeah, that thing. Babies that converge into making a boss or something? That's the boss. And it can grab me and do a shitload of damage to me. No! I'm technically get healing in this fight, but I think when I've fought this guy in the past, I've always just tried to, like, take damage so I can deal damage rather than trying to dodge it. I don't even know how you dodge it if you were to try. This is pretty close to the amount of health I got it to last time. I don't think I can really hit it when it comes at me slowly. I just have to avoid it during this phase, maybe. Oh, that was a dream right there. Let's do that again sometime, shall we? Auto, please. I get any of those pickups from all the stuff I was killing earlier? No! Wasn't mashing fast enough. Thank you, auto tanks. Because if you're ready right when he pops out, you can get potentially a shitload of shots off on him. Okay. So I can use that with super missiles when I die and have to attempt him again. Hey! Cutting it close there. Babies are burying their mommy. Thanks for the healing at the end. Shozo statue. Space jump. Cool. That opens up a lot of the map, if I recall. Making sure there's no goop in here, right? Space jump is not the screw attack, right? It's just an infinite jump. No, I think that's always how I fought that boss. What's the trick to it? Most of the bosses in this game, if you like get the jump on them, you can nuke them down almost immediately, right? I like how this makes getting back through this area significantly easier. Oh, there's a way to escape the grapple other than mash buttons? Oh, that's cool. So that's why you can't escape the grapple, or why you can't get away from it when it starts doing that animation, because you're supposed to grapple to zap it. Gotcha. It's cool. To do a lot of damage to it or something? Or just a way to escape it? Ouch. Alright, I don't know where to go next, but I have this crazy jump now. Hoping it'll be easier to get around. So I'm just gonna go to blue areas if I can. You can only space jump if you get this, like, spinny jump when you first launch in the air, right? Can't space jump if you do a standing jump like this one? Yeah, looks like that's right. Same rules as wall jumping. Might even be an instant kill. Oh wow. I don't think I even noticed the electrical things until the fight was over. The ones on the sides of the arena, right? A kingdom for an infinite enemy restock station. Okay. That might be what I'm standing in front of right now. Someone told me a trick to farming these faster, but I don't remember what it was. That the grapple auto kills them, maybe? That's it. And it automatically picks up the stuff so you don't have to move. I guess this game is like blind in the sense that I played it a lot when I was like, I played it badly when I was a kid, and I beat it like once as an adult. I've watched some like speedrun streams of it, but playing it in the speedrun is very different than playing it for real. Stack me up, please. Just don't. I need to not die after doing this, right? Yeah, Metroid Zelda randomizer sounds really fun. So I need to do a Zelda randomizer at some point on stream, because I know Link to the Past really well. Game that I did beat many times as a kid. You can get a 000 save file by leaving the Super Nintendo on like all weekend. That's everything. Okay. 135 are my numbers right now. Good to know. Make sure I didn't want anything back over to the right side of the screen. Don't think so. Maybe that dead end there? It's the only one I can think of. I got the gravity suit for defeating the ghost ship, right? Because this thing isn't jump as much as you like. There's like a certain number of cooldown frames you have to wait for. Sure. I don't know how much hubris I had trying to get up here earlier without the space jump. Oh, maybe it's that you can only jump once you're falling downward. You have to have passed the zenith, apex, whatever you want to call it. What's this all about? What's all this then? Space pirates. Invincible space pirates. Well, looks good. Oh, what's this? Plasma beam. That would explain the invincible space pirates. Got it. Now, this one I can freely toggle between different beams, right? Yeah. So it was, what was it, like Metroid 1 for the NES was super janky because you had to go back and like get the ice beam back after replacing it in order to fight the Metroids. I've never beaten Metroid 1. I've beaten Zero Mission. I've gotten maybe half the way through the original Metroid on the NES. It has not aged as well. That must be an optional power upgrade then. Okay, and then you see how that enemy is a lot easier to kill now. Because it's piercing, in case you didn't catch that. Cool. Look at the map. Excuse me. Big blue area down there. Technically the bottom right. Come on. We Friends of Secret Evermore had weird tunnels like that. That was necessary. Is the sand down here of any consequence? Possibly not. So I think it would be up from this room, but I don't think that's right. I don't think it's accessible through the save room. Let's see, I think... Do I have all of the upgrades necessary to fight Ridley? I remember, like, it's a little bit tricky because there's a couple upgrades you need to get there. You can make a really long trip to go check. Like, okay, now I can survive the lava. Oh shit, that's not enough. Okay, now I can jump high. Oh shit, that's not enough. And so on. Okay, it doesn't pierce like that. I think I do. I'll start heading in the direction of Ridley. For real, Norfair. Started it a lot of times. I have a lot of games that are like that. Like, I think I know the first disc of Final Fantasy VII almost by heart, but after that it gets a lot fuzzier. Going everywhere so you find progress, right? I feel like I've played remarkably few Metroidvanias that let you like draw on the map or put markers on the map. I think this genre benefits from a marker telling you, hey, you couldn't get in here because of this thing missing. I get why a lot of games don't do it. Sometimes it'll give away power-ups, or give away that there was something even interesting in the room in the first place. But I guess you could use a scanner for something like that. If you scan it, then you know. Interact with every pixel in FF7. I'll actually destroy those things. This might be the way to the X-ray scope, I don't remember though. Yay, I don't have to grapple because I'm bad at it. Yeah, I think that's right. Oh, thanks. It is the X-ray scope. Okay. And you're like, what does that do? Oh, that's what that do. I'm pretty sure that just removes like a layer. Have you ever messed around with layer settings in a Super Nintendo emulator? Whoa, don't do that. Hey Burner, how you doing? Moving slightly faster. I feel like you have to be pretty good at this game to get the locomotion down. If you're just a normal platforming gamer, it's really easy to get stuck in a really slow speed setting, velocity setting for Samus. Okay. We got our X-ray specs. There might be stuff to do in Criteria now that I have Space Jump. I think I cheesed a lot of it already through Shine Sparking and wall jumping for way more time than I needed to spend on it. Plasma Beam Metroid Prime is OP. Right, these things eat you. Come on, let me out of there. Ow. Okay, so I'm just going to scope out what I can get to in Criteria, and then we'll see if we can find our way to Norfair. I've been to Norfair, but I haven't fully explored Norfair. I think I can do it now that I have the space jump and the gravity suit. I think the gravity suit confers immunity to the lava. And the space jump lets you actually climb out of the area, but it's been a while. I love the item room. It's like kind of spooky sounding. I don't think I've even really been to Norfair since getting the gravity suit. That was fairly recent. Isn't it cool that like the little tunnels were in Super Metroid and then they are in Metroid Prime, but they are there for a very different purpose, it feels like. So that you can hide your loading screens. Right, I kept failing to make it over this thing. Came close a couple times. Something I don't know about this game is what the critical path is. Like, what I don't know what the things you absolutely have to do. Power bombs. And what's optional. Assuming no, like, obvious glitching. Because you have to kill all of the bosses that have golden statues associated with them, right? Say that for sure. I already climbed this side. Pretty much. Come on. Huh. There's a way I can like lose all my jumps with the space jump. That or like, I can only space jump in a short window when I first start to fall. And if I miss the window, it's too late for me to recover. Go ahead and get my heal. See if I can find our way to Norfair. Brinstar, Brinstar, Brinstar. I think going straight down is our best bet right now, maybe. I think you can get into Norfair pretty quickly from Brinstar. You're like, oh shit, it's hot here. I need to come back later. Well, this goes past the... This is the tunnel from the original Metroid. It might be the other pass, but I might be able to fit through it now that I have all these upgrades. Let's see. I really like this. Like, it's so... The game doesn't dwell on it, it's just, yeah, this is where you escaped after beating Mother Brain in Metroid 1. This is the boss fight room. It's all ruined. It's cool because it's the opposite of a lot of, like, most nostalgia I'm used to in games is the first level being the same. So having it be the final level is pretty neat. I have enough progression, I can just go in the general direction I need to go. I think you're right. I think there was some jank over here. Did I ever get... There's an energy tank all the way east of here. I don't know if I ever picked it up. Yeah, remember this one. That's fun. Okay, hold on, let me make sure I got the E-tank now that I should be able to get it without having to work for it. It's like through here in the ceiling. I probably did. I probably spent forever bomb jumping into it. So I'm a dummy. Yeah, I already got it. Okay. So I check. I did this too, right? Looks like it. I think Ridley's the last one I need to fight to be able to open up the golden statue room. Hey, Serp, how you doing? Right on. Well, if we wrap early, I'll give some time back to Leah. Like having the extra time. If it was just an hour or 2 hours, I'd be stressing about finishing. Norfair's actually down and to the right, but I can get there from this way. Nicely done. When are you putting Mahjong on your subblock, sir? Teach it to me. Gotta play more of that Opus Magnum game. I was just starting to see kind of crazy shit you can get up to. I think an hour will suffice. Really? Is it that hard? So you could probably teach somebody chess in an hour. Internalizing it takes a while, right? That makes sense. Is there such a thing as, like, scaling back some of the rules to make early games less complicated? Or is it kind of an all or nothing game, you need to have all the rules? Wait, I gotta turn around. We don't want to be in radio. Playing the most anime client imaginable. Hey, it's your call. As long as it's not banned on Twitch. Oh, I guess it's I keep going through there and then there's a elevator down to Norfair. Got confused about the map changing. I think you can teach someone enough chess that they can play a game. Like, they'll play badly, obviously. They won't know what's a good move and what's a bad move, but they will reach the end of the game and then lose. But I've definitely seen board games before where like it takes an hour or more to even have you play to the end of a game. And then once you play to the end of the game, you're like, okay, we accidentally missed like half the rules, so now let's try it again without fucking it up this time. That'd be cool. Yeah. It's a pretty popular game, right? I'm super bad at just thinking of other popular Asian games. I'm really, really bad at Go. Go is like one of my favorite games because it's like so elegant, has so few rules. And has like an insane amount of complexity resulting from that. Oh, that's cool. Go is a game that I appreciate very much, somewhat from a distance. I'm not good enough to ever actually want to play much of it, and a game of Go tends to last a really long time, but Go, I like what you're doing. Keep it up. Okay, I am able to survive in lava now. That's part of what we want to be doing here. I think that door there might be the shortcut to get back out of where Ridley is. Hey, Leah. Happy birthday. It's your subscriber anniversary too, so we're playing it for 3 hours. Thanks for subbing. One step better than complete crap at Go. I love following that whole AlphaGo saga. Okay. Basically 2 ways out of that general area. I think I already fought the... I forget the name of the boss, but the boss that, like, you have to push back into the lava. They go up and then around, maybe. I want to drop down there. Yes. This game continues to be a lot of people's jams today. And one of the best games ever made. Chess is much closer to being a solved game, right? Like it's not solved, but it's like closer to Connect 4 on that axis than yellow lava still hurts me, it turns out. Oh, from Mahjong? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was exactly what I was asking. That's there's a viable way to teach by removing complexity at the beginning. I like that. Perfect moves known for each opposition. That is basically what I mean. Like, if you were to say that it was completely solved. I've been on that Wikipedia binge before, though, right? There's like different classifications of solved when it comes to game theory. There's games like Connect 4 that are literally solved. In any possible game state, you can know the correct move always, 100% of the time. Or even more extreme, like Tic-Tac-Toe. Then you have games that are basically solved, but not technically. Yeah. This seems like this is going the right way. This seems very familiar. You don't get to like the real Norfair until pretty late in the game. Why are you there? No! Yeah, I think it said there's a window when you start to descend where you can press the button for space jump, and if you fail to press it, then you just fall. Or if you press it too fast, you just fall. Missiles. Preposition in all possible resolving positions. I know that that's true for Go. Oh, cool. Nice shortcut. I think the problem with chess is that, like, because of how optimized the openings are at this point, like, the actual phase space is significantly smaller. Like, it's true that there's all these possibilities, but most games are never going to get anywhere near that level of complexity. Truly solvable, right? Huh, that's suspicious. Why did I not check that out this time? Oh, because it doesn't matter. Okay. Because the fact that machines can routinely beat humans would move it much closer to solved in my mind. I'm talking about a gradient here, not saying the binary, is it solved, yes or no. Chess is closer to solved than Go. Maybe I go right? Looks like there's some places I haven't dipped down to all the way over there. Let's try that. No, pedantry is where it's at. What is it to be a nerd other than to be super into something and be willing to debate it to the finest levels? Okay, so I guess it doesn't involve being in this area at all. I think it's up and then right. This is where games like Hollow Knight iterate on the Metroidvania formula a bit by giving you like a currency or something so that when you get lost, you're at least killing stuff and getting loot for your next charm. I guess kind of sort of Castlevania as well, especially like Aria of Sorrow. type games where maybe you're running through and killing enemies that are dropping souls that you need for crafting items or whatever. I just wanted to clear that blue space, get it off my map. Interesting problem to think about. This room is so cool. Giant Ridley head. Hey. Now we get to hear the real Norfair music, which is classic. And if I recall correctly, the BPM on the percussion part is like, maybe it's not in this game, but in one of the games, it's exactly the BPM you need to bomb jump. Dude, speaking of BPM, I guess this is mild spoilers for my old school RuneScape playthrough, so maybe mute if you don't want to hear it. It's mild. But the combat in RuneScape is kind of a rhythm game, because you have these abilities called prayers, and if like the way you're expected to use prayers, I think, the way the devs designed it, was that you turn it on, and then you get some buff, and it starts draining your points, and it drains until they're out. But what you can do is you can turn on the prayer at the moment you need it, like in the exact game second, the game step where it matters, and then turn it off immediately and get the full benefit of it without it draining your resource the whole time. And like a game tick is, I don't know, 100 BPM or something. So you can get really good at I think what they call it prayer flicking, where you like activate your prayer on exactly that, 100 BPM beat, deactivate it, and use your resources for like factors of 1,000 more than you were probably intended to use them originally. Count by ticks. Interesting. Makes sense, Aki. Thinking about the beat net hack. That is really cool, Kiri. There's certain games, like I don't think it'll be a really long time before a robot can consistently beat professional players at poker. But I guess that's tricky, because like, how does a human player even play a robot in the first place? There's no psychological element. Oh, really? How does it work, do you know? Don't remember. This is a room. That's a defensive advantage of the computer, but is the computer able to like know if a player is bluffing? That sort of a thing? I don't think I can kill these space pirates yet, can I? Guess they take damage from that. At least they flash when it activates. Super missiles kill them. Okay. Well, I'm gonna die. I do have my reserve tank. On auto, I don't think there's any particular reason to keep it off auto. I don't even know why it lets you. Very cool. I do not remember the super strong space pirates. How do speedrunners deal with slowdown in this game? I think the frame rate kind of tanks a bit when there's a lot of stuff going on. Still not done with post-game puzzles, wow. Are you trying to like optimize? Oh jeez, this is bad. Or are you just trying to beat them? Lag reduction are a big part of the speedrun. No, and now we die. Alright, I have energy reserve, but I'm still gonna die. Oh god, I lost my ability to space jump. Ah, it happened again. That's okay. Bit of the design space in a way that makes it tougher. Cool. Let me try going a different way this time. I like how hard Norfair is. It's difficult, like... It kind of like does the Metroidvania things. Like, okay, you have a shitload of upgrades and the rest of the game is trivial. Here's an area that's hard for you even though you're doing pretty well on resources. Because we have yellow acid that burns you constantly, rooms you have to run through really quickly, enemies that take a lot of hits to kill, even with your super missiles. I feel like that's challenging to do. To make you feel like a badass in the early areas of the game, and then get to the end game with all those tools and have it be difficult. It's possible, yeah. Just nuke everything for free. Hello, Mr. Golden Chozo statue. I think I remember Screw Attack dropping from Ridley. I love the number of secrets in Metroid that are just like, there's no way that's a dead end. I think the thing that I like about Metroid compared to Castlevania, Metroid's a lot more focused on like secrets, and like secrets being the way that you're meant to progress through the game. There are definitely secrets in Metroidvanias, but they're not as often on the main path. You're not as often expected to like break a hole in a otherwise inconspicuous wall in order to progress. Some exceptions, especially in like Symphony of the Night. Oh shit. Another evil Chozo statue. Shoot him in the chest. Where's your beak, Mr. Chozo? You're supposed to be like a birdman. Yeah, I know, I love that. Half-Life 2 does the same thing where, like, the way that feels like you're cheating is actually the way that they expect you to go, or they intend for you to go. You can get that right. It feels really good. Schmosa. Oh, what is the English Premier League? Football? Disregard. Screw tech before Ridley. Cool. I gotta go save. That's cool. Yeah, not to get anything wrong, like I like Castlevania a lot. Definitely one of my favorite game series. It's just an interesting way how it's different, you know? Screw attack is so OP. So Screw Attack wasn't in Metroid Prime 1, but it was in Metroid Prime 2. But it was mostly like a gap. Like, it wasn't super strong, right? You couldn't use it to just destroy everything in the game. It was a basic progression ability, I think. Played that back in 2015, so I do not remember shit from it. Screw you, Attack. Yeah, these guys are way easier with the Screw Attack. Lateral distance power up. That makes this room make way more sense. That room even lets you get away with getting through it via the power bombs. There's a bit back there that I want. Don't do the same mistake. Come on. Gotta get my timing down. I don't really have it down. Hey, the door stayed open. That's nice. It's often faster to just drop a power bomb than it is to turn on the X-ray specs. But I guess they technically, I think the X-ray specs can show you stuff the power bomb won't reveal. Also, one is free and one is not. I do like that having the screw attack isn't the same thing as just being invincible. Like, you still have to land the jumps at the right timing. Like, you're definitely pretty advantaged, but... Alright, I'm gonna pop upstairs and save real quick. Like, that's a good idea. I was trying to figure out, like, why does Super Metroid in particular feel kind of weird with its controls? Like, it's not that they're bad, it's like I kind of have to make like a weird claw to be able to run, jump, and shoot. And I think it's that I expect shoot to be on a trigger button now from playing a lot of more modern games. I have to look at some of the Metroid sequels and see if they move where they move that stuff to. You probably don't need to have a walk state. Like, I can see holding run in order to trigger a specific power-up, like the speed boost. Whatever the official name of it is. It's a one-way drop. Didn't care about the shoulder buttons. I didn't really think about what shoulder buttons could be used for. I think it was the first game that mapped your basic attack to R1 instead of to a face button. I think that was a really smart idea. So prime 2 wall jumping was lame. Just a key, yeah. You unlock wall jumping and now there's new areas you can get to, but you can't use it anywhere outside of those areas that are pre-established for wall jumping, right? I think some key power-ups are necessary, like the various suit is basically a key, although I think maybe it reduces your damage as well. Guess that's interesting if you're returning to earlier areas that weren't balanced for the various suit. That's one issue with Zelda Skyward Sword. It's a good game, but a lot of the power-ups are just keys. Suits and Prime are also defense upgrades. You don't get that initial momentum on the first jump, you're not catching up. That's a good point. Don't depend on buttons that other consoles might not have access to, basically. Nintendo's usually pretty good at knowing what to do with their own hardware, too. Like, it's not uncommon for a third party to have something new to deal with, like shoulder buttons, and not know what to do with it. Then Nintendo will do it. Here, this is what you use shoulder buttons for. But I can't really think of too many like first-party Nintendo games for the Super Nintendo that really use the shoulder buttons to their fullest potential. Earthbound, because you could use L1 as a confirm button and play the entire game left-handed. Even one-handed, I should say. It's a pretty big boon for RuneScape that you can play the whole thing basically one-handed. It's like there are a couple keyboard shortcuts, but none of them significantly improve the speed of play. It makes it really easy to do work at the same time if you're just going to have to reach over and bump the mouse every couple seconds. I think there's a worrying number of JRPGs that could probably have everything mapped to be playable on one hand and don't for whatever reason. I'm trying to think of the number of RPGs where like buttons matter other than the D-pad plus confirm and cancel, maybe menu. Alright, this feels like progress, so I'm gonna go the other way for a second. see what's up this way. Whoa. All 4 face buttons, so it used to be menu options. A lot of cool secrets here. Clearly don't remember this part of the game at all, other than getting in and the actual Ridley fight itself. Oh yeah, right, like Y for special attack, A for attack. Like, it didn't need it, but it was stylish, I guess. Huh. I see. Times when the spring ball might be relevant. What I really need right now is a, energy tank would be great. Oh, this one might actually be set up to be a do you have the spring ball gate? It's interesting. Power bombs useful in boss fights in this game? I pretty much only ever use them for progression. Back to the save room. I think the problem is button placement is just a thing that a lot of devs don't really think about. They either do it because that's how every other dev does it, which is probably fine. If everyone else does it a certain way, it's probably at least tolerable. Like I was joking the other day that I feel like I've played a game that has had the menu button on every possible button on the controller. Except for maybe, like the A button, the confirm button. PlayStation's X button. I don't think I've played a game that has the menu on that. Everything else. It gets super weird when you have games that like have key combinations, but then don't use all of their buttons. So it's like, okay, you have to hold L1 and press A to shoot, but Y does nothing? It's weird. You know, kinda, sorta, yeah. And then you can use L to access the same... You can use L to skip the Dragon Quest menu. And just go straight to interact with thing in front of me. Yeah, good point. I guess I have played a game with it on every single button. I have a soft spot for Nintendo Confirm versus the rest of the world Confirm. But like, Sony was originally backing Nintendo Confirm when they decided to put circle as the right face button and X as the bottom face button. X meaning no, circle meaning yes. But after that, they're like, yeah, screw it. Everyone has decided that the bottom button means yes. This is a cool room. Is there a super space pirate? I shouldn't be able to hurt them. They have my abilities. Oh, I see. They become vulnerable while doing their spinny kick. Or like, do they become screw attack vulnerable? No. Okay. I'll probably die in this room. So I'm invulnerable while doing this. Cool. Yeah, fuck, am I pressing again? Yeah, because FF8 switched to, that's when Final Fantasy went with the industry standard of bottom button is confirmed, right? Okay, thank God. I needed a restock really badly. I wasn't sure if there were any even down here anywhere. I want the most dickish pirates guarding me. Oh, that Ridley. This is gonna take a while. I've been recording so much RuneScape, I'm just like, oh, it's okay, I'll just mute, and then you guys won't have to watch this. It'll just automatically fast forward to the next interesting part. Magic of technology. I'm gonna see if I can get my sister's coming to visit next Wednesday. She might join for a couple streams. Let's see if I can get her hooked on RuneScape too. Andrew's been playing a shitload of it. We were doing Blue Apron the other night, and she was fishing at the same time. Why would you do that to family? I'm actually not going to PAX this year. I might be going to PAX East if we can get tickets for it. I'll be at TwitchCon though. I'm doing a panel, or I'll be on a panel, I should say. That will be streamed, so when I have the stream details, I'll share it. What types of content is compelling? Well, fast forwarding it certainly helps with that, Aki. Yeah, I see your point. If I make a video that's 8 hours of an agility course, even if it's mostly fast forwarded and it's got a decent number of views and no one's like, what the hell, why are you posting this? Whoops, I should have gone back and saved. I think I actually have to. I can't use screw attack against him, really? I don't remember though. This game does one of my favorite gaming tropes, and that's you meet an enemy at the start of the game that kicks your ass, and you grow in power and you get revenge on them later. Like, it's also happens in film a lot too, but in video games it feels a lot better, I feel like. One of the things I really like about the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion, Shadowbringers, it does that too. And then, like, Sekiro is the god of that. But, like, you kick that boss's ass not because you have a bunch of crazy loot and gear, but you're just better at the game. And you have the Mercury counter. I guess that's a big deal. I have enough missiles for this guy. I have to come back with full resources. Remember if he drops missiles at all. Might not even hurt him, I'm not sure. Does the Mega Man sequel I just mention fighting a boss and then encountering it again later? Oh right, because it talks about base, doesn't it? Or not base, vial. I know it's been a storytelling trope for a while, right? Like Star Wars. Early encounter with Darth Vader doesn't go well. Yeah, write this name. Baby Metroid is missing. Golden statue should open though. I think even if I followed a walkthrough for every game we played on stream and just like blitzed the main story and never did optional side content, we would never run out of games. It's not at 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday, right? Mega Man X sequel I just video. I think the thing that stuck out to me most about that one is him pointing out the area where you're forced to learn how to wall jump. I hadn't noticed that until Ego Raptor pointed it out, and I was like, oh yeah. Raise the minimum according to 95, yeah. We run out pretty fast. I don't know if we'll see another game get a 95, or see more than one game get a 95 every couple of years. I think Breath of the Wild got one right, and maybe Super Mario Odyssey came pretty close. Oh, nice, Spiky. I think it's one of the only, what is it? It's one of the only nostalgic themes in Metroid Prime. Because there's a couple, like, fanfares that are in it. Yeah, first you just hear the percussion bit, and it gets more intense the further down you go. One of my favorite musical tropes. We went to that panel at PAX with the Celeste composer, and she was talking about doing that for the final level of Celeste, where it's like all one track technically. Can I get back up this way? I must be able to. I'm just doing something silly. There we go. The final level is all one gigantic track that has different instruments set to be on or off based on what's happening in the game. Oh, I didn't know Celeste Chapter 9 was a thing. Just DLC? That's cool. Free DLC. Nice. Getting more of a hit from I didn't like it. Yeah. Difficulty of quantifying criticism. This channel in a nutshell. We were talking the other day about how, like, even though it seems really silly, the obvious thing to say is that, oh, the numbers are meaningless, and, like, you know, really, what's the difference between a 95 and a 94 on Metacritic? Like, that's generally true, but we've been doing this long enough now that I think I can actually kind of get a feel for... If you told me a game had a 79, I'd have a pretty good sense of what to expect from it, compared to a game that had, like, an 83. That sounds really dumb, and it is really dumb. I don't think it's suggesting that numbers matter, because they don't. It's all subjective, it's art, but... Probably couldn't tell you the difference between a 79 and an 80. I think we're supposed to go this way. Yet I'm going this way. Genre separation, yeah. There's already some discussion about that with the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion. Like, it's done extremely well. I think at one point it had a high of a 92 on Metacritic. I think it stabilized down to a 91. There was, like, one reviewer that everyone's mad at because they used a jump potion to skip leveling and skip the story. And then they gave the game, like, an 85, which is very reasonable. But it's just like, you almost need to have someone on staff who's committed to investing 200 hours in your game in order to be able to give it a fair review. Well, yeah. Donkey made a video that was basically making that point, right? That, like, he doesn't like game review outlets like IGN because they have a ton of reviewers on staff and you never know whose voice you're hearing from. I mean, obviously he was arguing for you should trust YouTubers because you know I'm Donkey and I love Super Mario Bros. 2, baby. It won't be a surprise to you when I praise something that's just like it. Yeah, I guess maybe the way I should put it is I'm not saying that I can tell if I can tell the difference between a 79 and an 83 as to whether or not I'll enjoy it. I want to say, was it Alpha Protocol was like mid-70s? It was almost on the threshold, and I like that game a lot more than some games we played that have been in like the 80s or higher. But I can know in advance like what generally is going to be wrong with a game. What sort of jank to expect if it dips below 80 or below 90. Yeah, I've liked Kotaku's review style because they make a list. Here are like things that I liked. Here are things I didn't like. Here's whether or not I think you should play it. Right? I think that was what Donkey's point was, Spiky. Get a better idea than that from a review. In many cases, you're probably less likely to be spoiled. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like, I think the reason I like Metacritic so much is because it is an aggregator. Like, it's probably going to trend towards the truth. It won't be exactly right to that level of granularity. Like I said, we're not going to tell the difference between an 80 and an 81. But in like bins of 5, you can probably kind of get a general idea of what do people think of this. It should control for people spamming bad reviews, because you're not going to get critics doing that. I feel like I've played another game recently where its equivalent of the space jump was like an animation cancel. As long as you press the jump button, you would immediately jump again in the air. And I keep wanting the space jump to be that in this, and it's not. Glad the later Metroid games added like warp points. I feel like if this game were made today, it would be very similar in most respects. It might be a little bit more explicit about like tutorials when you get items, and it would probably allow you to warp back to Brinstar after like the Ridley fight, for example. The reviewer just says I don't like the genre. I should see if I can find and link the donkey video. He's a little bit abrasive in it, but his point basically is that like if you follow a personality, like if you follow me and you know how I feel about Persona, right? And then you show me a game like Trails of Cold Steel, like you know going into it, I've already stated how I feel about Persona, and it's probably going to color my opinion of a game like Trails of Cold Steel. So you can kind of take what I say with a bit of a grain of salt. But it's harder for a review site like IGN or even Kotaku to do that because the reviewers don't typically have a personality that you're associating with. It's just, this is what IGN says about this game. IGN says this game is a 79 out of 100. And it's like, does IGN say that? Or does, like, random reviewer number 16 who happened to be assigned to this game say that? Surely chest. I feel like that's been less of a problem. Like it's weird that happens in video games, right? Like movies don't work that way. Movies have almost always been personality, individual critics. So if Roger Ebert says he thinks a movie is trash and you've watched enough Roger Ebert, you're like, okay, I kind of know what you like. I kind of know what you don't like. It doesn't surprise me that you said you dislike this. You're maybe not the voice that I want to come to see if I really should play or watch this movie or not. Similarly, like, on the flip side, if you know that I hate Persona and you hand me a game that's basically Persona and I come out saying that I love it, you might hold more weight for that. Yeah, that was what I'm getting at there. E10 exactly, though. I think both things are true. Polarizing games and get the same average score as a game that's universally seen as mediocre. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I'm trying to think of an example. Awesome polarizing game where its review scores suffered probably because of the fact that it's polarizing and some people love it, some people hate it. Like, I would think that the answer would be Dark Souls. Like, I would feel that most people should hate Dark Souls and that it should be polarizing and that the people that don't get it don't give it good reviews, but it does really well on Metacritic. Is beyond my understanding. I'll take it. It means I get more of these games. Does the ship fully restock me on ammo as well, or is it just a full heal? Deadly Premonition's on the voting spreadsheet. We haven't played it yet. I think you might be right, though. I think Death Johnson made that point that, like, hey, this doesn't do great on Metacritic, but it's because it's really polarizing. Ship is ammo as well. Okay, thanks. So, I can never remember where the golden statue room is. It's in Brinstar somewhere, isn't it? Fit through this. Way on the left side. That must be why. I want it to be in the right. So it's like you go left and then you have to turn right, and then it's actually like the entrance into the room is on the left side of it, right? Be fascinating, independent of being good or bad. Yeah. I feel like 75 Metacritic is a really strong control for fascinating, like, at least from what we've played so far on stream. Want me to turn off screw attack? Are they... Okay. Now, is that because it's fascinating despite being bad, or is it less that it's fascinating and more that it's like junk food for you? Like, bad movies that are so bad they're good, or video games that are so stupid that you can't help but enjoy them. Andrea watches a lot of junk food TV shows, and I think that that's fine. And what is it, Lindsay Ellis is like, don't ever give people shit for the trash that they like. We all like trash. Like different kinds of trash. Button back on, please. Thank you. So it's either plasma or spacer, but not both. Like I missed a beam. Good for what it's trying to be. Enjoy your trash, so you go enjoy your trash. Yeah. I'm trying to get up to my ship so I can get a full restock. I think I have enough resources for the endgame. Because I can always use a charge shot if I run out of missiles. But... left on Ridley. Left. But the statue room is it Brinstar or Criteria? I thought you got there pretty early. I don't think you have to go in that room, but you're likely to end up in that room, maybe? On the way to Brinstar. Okay, thanks. Hello, ship. "40 super missiles isn't bad. Can't really fault this game's choice of shoulder button, like, definitely need to be able to aim at an angle. So it's not down Brinstar, it's like right and up by where that missile room is, maybe? Okay, thanks. Oh yeah, right. Then you got this spooky hallway here. That's why I can never find it. The load-bearing bosses. Whee! Okay, so I think we'll beat this game in an hour and a half. Might be a little light on resources, but we'll be okay. Really like the aesthetics of the final zone. Most of the rest of the game has been like kind of natural terrain, sort of. Power bombs only is a good way to dislodge them. Or they could just be regular bombs. Yeah, okay. These are the real Metroids. Metroids don't like room transitions. Like, well, I give up. I feel like the way to kill Metroids being something that's been fixed since the NES game is really cool. They found a way to make it work. Shit. Definitely want to see more games do the Metroid Prime. Here's a scanner that explains why there are all these goofy video game enemies in the game. Oh yeah, it's the enemy that runs up to you and explodes. It does that so it can spread its spores around and reproduce. What? Even bringing back the big red circles from Metroid 1 is pretty great. Shit. So how am I supposed to get him to dislodge? I really thought it was just do a morph bomb. Morph ball bomb. SpaghettiOs. So I got free eventually. I don't know why though. Lots of them. Okay. Eventually it just lets you go. Thanks. I guess it wasn't knocking it away, is why I was confused. Is there any, like, external lore about the fake Metroids? Are they just trying to build clones of them or something? There's not a lot in the game itself. Headcanon, sure. Disintegrated Chozo statue. Everything in here is disintegrating. Oh god! I think that's the baby Metroid. Ah! Because then it recognizes me right before it finishes sucking my brain out, right? That's so cool! They do this all wordlessly, right? What do I think is so perfect about this? You can skip this? How does speedrunners skip it? Thanks for not killing me. Yeah, they do some really cool ludonarrative stuff in here. Recognizes the low health because also heard that one Ridley kick your ass. That's cool. Should open that door first. It's fine. I also kind of like that you get the screw attack and it's super OP, and then the endgame area it's useless against the main enemy that is going to give you trouble anyway. But it's really nice for going back and like exploring the earlier areas, getting all the missiles, that sort of thing. It was in 3 as well, wasn't it? Screw attack. I remember it in 2. I thought it was just like a progression mechanic. We were talking about it earlier a little bit. This is the missile sieve. Did you get enough missiles before coming to the endgame? Oh, jam. It's also very nostalgic. This degree of blatant nostalgia pandering. I thought it worked really well in this one. I thought it was tasteful. Like, having the first area be the final area for Metroid 1 without the game, like, going nuts about that fact. It doesn't, like, do, like, a thing where it flashes back, like, oh, you remember this? It's just, that's just how it is. When I die, I might need to use different resources in the tank, because I think I need better resources for the boss. Yeah, different games handle it better. Like, there was one in Code Veronica that was cool, but it was also, like, it did not make any sense. Suddenly, in the middle of Antarctica, there was an exact replica of the first areas of the mansion in Resident Evil 1. Mother Brain's basically just like a space pirate computer, right? There go my reserve tanks. Metal Gear Solid 2 uses nostalgia as a core plot point. Thanks, baby Metroid! Oh, is this not scripted? Do you need to have a certain amount of health when that attack lands to not die? I was like, I should have turned off my reserve tanks so I don't lose them. I didn't know that. I thought this was kind of a victory lap and that Ridley was a real final boss. To have at least 300 health. Interesting. Really? So you can't do a low percent run without getting at least a couple energy tanks and then not making mistakes in the fight? No! Stop being mean to baby Metroid! Aww. This is pretty great wordless storytelling. Rainbow gun. Avenge baby Metroid. I think this game has the classic Metroid get out with a timer thing. I actually don't know where the animals are, so we're probably gonna end up saving the frames by accident. Yeah. I just need to keep the laser gun. Stars. Yeah, so what kind of things can you do to mitigate lag in this? Killing enemies early or something? Moving through areas as quickly as possible? I love you break into this room, right? It's great. Like, the platform placement is so silly and NES-y. Killing certain enemies to draw more lag, not taking certain routes. Has anyone ever tried to make a lagless version of Super Metroid? I guess it would probably break a lot of other tricks that you can do. Yeah, it's like one of the most optimized speedruns in existence, isn't it? Competing for tenths of a second now. Yeah, I always associated this as the OG speedrun game. Especially since the game even gives you a benefit for beating it quickly, right? I remember speedrunning Mario 1 when I was a kid. I think I got down to like... I want to say 11 minutes, I can't be right. It's probably like 15 or 16 minutes. Frieza, no. Operation was completed successfully. Clear time bad. 4:59. Graphics. Mode 7, whoa! Sub 5. Hours. Yeah, no worries, Leah. It's on YouTube if you ever want to watch it. Metroid says the planet's blowing up in 3 minutes. It's blowing up in 3 minutes. Oh my god, that happens so much in anime. It's actually kind of frustrating. Whenever a character's like, you know, I can only stop time for 7 seconds, then he talks for like 2 minutes. It's like, what the fuck? Am I supposed to like interpret this differently? Am I supposed to assume that we're just kind of getting his internal monologue and he's presenting it as speech? Hooray! Mario 1 speedruns 4:55. I've watched some of those videos about how tightly tuned the Mario speedrun is, because you're like trying to get fractions of a second that are based on the flagpole. Something with the way the game ticks work in Mario 1, like you can only gain or lose time in a certain increment, because when you hit the flagpole, Mario automatically waits for a tick to pass before he starts walking to the exit, right? I went on a super deep dive into that at one point. Like, the theory crafting is the interesting part to me. Like I said, not so much the watching the runs. Super Metroid, like, when I think of Let's Beat Every Awesome Game and think of awesome games in general, it is very high on the list. Both in terms of, like, how important it is, what a great follow-up it is to its predecessors. I mean, Mario World 2, Mario World as well, Link to the Past especially. Link to the Past is like, okay, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, let's not do that Zelda 2 thing. Thumbs up. Deer Force. 66%. I feel like I should play Other M at some point. I have an opinion of it without having played it, which I'm not comfortable with. My opinion's probably pretty close to... Based on what I've heard about it, I don't think it's going to change too much when I actually play it, but... Still would like to err on the side of knowing what the hell I'm talking about. Hooray! We beat Super Metroid. This game is great. I want to play more Metroid games. We've beaten, what, Super Metroid, Metroid Prime, 1, 2, and 3. What else have we already done? Metroid Samus Returns. The Metroid 2 remake for 3DS. I thought that one was super good. That one and Zero Mission are two of the best remakes I've ever played of video games. I'd love to do Zero Mission on stream at some point. I think we'll probably do Metroid Prime 4 when it comes out, rather than wait. I can't imagine it's going to be super long. Cool. Thanks everyone for